Hey, I'm Dagda, and this is Ultimate List presented by Omen. We're going to be ranking the best plays of 2024, voted by you, the fans. So let's get into it. Yeah, this was such a sick performance from Viper, because I remember people kind of talking about Pays throughout this, how he shouldn't have gone forward here, but honestly, I don't think it matters. Like, Viper positioned so incredibly well throughout this fight, constantly playing behind his protection, and even here, just being able to pick off Pays the second he went forward at Peanut. I think this has always been the beauty of a player like Viper. He just has that kill switch where he's like, nope, I'm going to win this now. This is completely over. I'm taking over the game. And it's something that he's had for so many years. And unfortunately, Gen G got to be in the business end of that this time. I think the really standout thing here is realizing that Chovy has gone over the wall. So he's not actually going to be going up against the two carries from Gen G here. He's able to just take them piece by piece and then even moving to outrange so he gets the flash from Chovy as well. Like, it was just such a good read in the moment from Viper, but how best to just destroy Gen G in the moment. It's really hard to rank this when it's the first play, right? So I think like this was sick, and I think it was insane positioning. So I'm going to put it like an A tier, but I feel like this is just like, as weird as it sounds, like run-of-the-mill Viper. This man has just world-class plays, almost it feels like on a weekly basis. So I'm going to put it in A tier for the moment. Maybe we scooch it up and down a notch, but like Viper is always just godly. So I'm going to put it an A for the moment. Oh, the Griffin 2019 roster would be absolutely insane. Like, it is such a strong lineup. The fact that every one of them essentially are, you know, at the top tier across all of their different rosters is just absurd. I think a lot of people looked at Griffin 2019 and knew that they were going to be something special, and these players have more than delivered on that, still being the best and world class in every role. It's just insane. So I remember watching this play live and absolutely losing my mind, because the ability to have the mechanics to hook shot, get the flash over, and then deliver is one thing. But to do this in the heat of the moment when there's so much pressure on you is absolutely insane. And like, this is the reason why this man, for this longest time, his in-game name was I Love Camille. Like, this guy knows this champion inside and out, and to show it on an international stage like this is just so amazing. Yeah, the most insane part here is he gets the hook shot. It's the flash now over the wall. Like, this is such a small window that you're actually able to play with here to still get the second half of the hook shot after. Gets immediately onto Faker, but also what you just saw was he hit you with the slow. So you managed to get the outside of the W to get the slow, which then sets up for everything else as well. And then he's able to turn around onto Owner here too. Like, this was an incredible moment for BLG, and it was just so sick to see. I am an LPL man, so I'm going to be a little bit biased with this one. I'm probably going to put this in S, because I feel like with Faker at the bottom of my screen, I already know what that last play is going to be. Yeah, this could even be potentially SS. It's kind of sitting on the nice little border between the two of them, just because it was such an insane show of skill. If this had been a finals game, I think that's where I would have just like pushed it over the edge, and it would have been that SS, but it was the semi-finals of MSI, so still insane. But I think there's a few like little spicy bits left to come. I think between the two insane bin moments on Camille, I think this one is my favorite one, because even though the shockwave play was absolutely insane in the bottom lane, they didn't get the win, right? And I think that is always kind of the asterisk on that play. If that had been the turnaround moment and then they win the game, that would have been like god tier, absolutely insane. But I think this was one where this was a massive difference maker in that semi-final. So I think for me, this just kind of outshines it because it was such a big moment and highlighted how insane Bin is on these carry champions, and especially Camille, because that has always been the champion he's identified with. So this was one of the most insane endings to a game I have ever seen. Like, the fact you've only got Busio left and you just know it's done. And you're like, it's over. Like, FlyQuest are done. And then you're just looking at, well, honestly, I wasn't even looking at the minions. I was like, oh man, they tried their best. We're going to game 5. I'm going to go make myself a cup of tea and get ready. And then you're like, no way. Like, no way they actually are going to do it. And I think the reactions that you're going to see, I imagine in just a second, really say it all. Nobody expected this finish. And to be in a finals, that this is the end, was just bonkers. So this is a really hard one to rank, because it's not like it's insane mechanics or insane like outplays. It's just minions doing the work for you and having the biggest brain of the century from FlyQuest to let that happen. So, I mean, I want to put it in like S or A tier, because it is still like an insane moment, and especially for it to be FlyQuest taking the title, yeah, I think it has to go S, right? It was just such an insane moment, and then brought us FlyQuest at Worlds, who popped the hell off as well. So I think this moment really was a turning point, both for fans of the LCS, but also then what FlyQuest were able to achieve post this finals as well. So this moment was actually sick, and also one of the color casters in this is brilliant and a big brain guy, but I think this was just insane to see just how in sync that was, because I think it shows both the understanding of both mid laners, exactly what was needed to turn that fight, the beauty of them coming down at the same time, but also then like, I think the outlier in this situation, I'm actually just going to go back here, is like Shun in this position. Because Shun, yes, we get these insane Galio ults, but also Shun just 2v1ing on the top side of this play as well, knowing that the rest of BLG have this fight in the bottom half, is just so sick. But yeah, it was just beautiful coordination throughout. Then the follow-up as well. I think this was just so good from BLG and showed both coordination internally and also just between Zeka and Knight, that they just understood, hang on a second, this is the perfect time for this. And then even the screenshot that we got afterwards, I think it was LOL Esports posted it on Twitter or X. It was just insane. This like double wham down in. It was just amazing. So yeah, this for me was one of the coolest plays that we've seen at Worlds in a while. And I think is one that will stick out in fans' memories, like the arrow that we got back in the day from Rocks Tigers, like these really magnificent plays that we got to see. So for me, like, again, I don't know. I'm bad at these tier lists because these are all just sick plays. It's the problem. I suppose it's the best plays of 2024, so don't feel as bad like ranking everything super highly. Yeah, I want to put this in like S tier as well, just because you know what? I'm going to put it down in B because I can't do my boy Viper like that. So yeah, I think it is an absolutely insane play. I think it was sick coordination and the follow-up was there. But I think when you look at, again, kind of like what it meant in the moment, what is like for the minions, what it meant to see those mechanics from Bin in the heat of the moment in like a big semi-finals game. This was still sick, but I think yeah, it's just not quite at the echelon of some of the other plays that are there. I think my player of the year would be Bin. So the reason for it is I think across Gen G you had incredible players that stepped up massively and were consistent throughout. Like Chovy was insane, Kanye was insane, Pays had insane moments, Keen was insane. Like basically every player on Gen G was insane for the majority of the year. And also then when you look at T1, I think they had insane step ups towards Worlds, and that entire story was absolutely incredible. But I do think when you look at Billy, the fact that they made it to both MSI and 2 World Finals, and even though they were struggling across bits of summer, like Knight I think took a step back, it really did feel like Bin was such an incredible performer and always someone that took a lot of the authority in those games, or even took a lot of the hits when it came towards, you know, draft or people trying to push him out, and even having to essentially reinvent himself with picks like Rumble, which he'd said in the past he absolutely hated but tried to bring out as well. I think Bin really stepped up for BLG in their worst moments, and was also, as we saw on this list, some of their most highlight plays as well. So I think my player of the year has been. So this play was absolutely insane, because it's not only the fact that, again, it's Faker stepping up, it's callback to JDG Game 4 as well for me. It's almost the exact same position on the opposite side of the fight, opposite side of the map. Instead of being Rulers getting caught, instead he's catching Knight, he's catching Elk, he's catching the core members of BLG, and it's Faker stepping up to be a carry again. And I think that's the most absurd thing every time I look at this man. It has been so many years, over a decade, that he's been in our scene, and he's still stepping up to be the carry. It's not a, hey, I'm just going to be the mastermind and, you know, pull the strings behind the scenes. It's, no, I'm taking this game by the horns and I'm going to lead us to victory. And I think it just shows how rare and incredible a player Faker is, because there's been no one who has ever been able to do that. And I At this stage, I don't know if there will ever be someone who's able to do that again. It was absolutely insane. And also just, I'm going to rewind you for just a quick second here, but shout out to Kerry on this play as well, because his follow-up was just sick. Like, Faker gets in, gets the double charm, and then immediate flash forward from Kerry. In then to the knock-up from Owner off the ultimate too. This was just a sick play. Also, Faker is not of this earth. Medic, take a bow after that one. That was such a sick call. And I think for what was an insane moment, Medic also did that just such justice in that moment. So I think this is just a no-brainer. SSS tier. It is already legacy defining for one of the most incredible players, the GOAT of our scene. It is legacy defining for T1. It is a play that will forever be remembered. And I think every team now is going to be terrified of going into a game 4 against T1, because back-to-back years, Faker has stood up and said, I'm going to take this trophy out of your hands, and there's nothing you can do about it. I don't think I have like a favorite moment per se that I've cast this year, but I think that Hamwa BLG series was one of my favorite series to cast ever. You got that insane double Galio ult. The stakes were so high. I think it was also just BLG coming back off of what had been a pretty rough spot. And to just get that chance to be a part of that moment was absolutely insane. And that is a cast that I think has stood out in my mind as probably one of the best casts I've ever done. So for me, that entire series was like a dream for me. And I just really, really appreciated getting to be a part of that. Yeah, I don't think it's a specific moment, but I think that series as a whole will always hold a special place in my heart. Just for everything that it brought to the table. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Ultimate Lists presented by Omen. Please let me know how I did down in the comments, and I'll catch you all later.